Miami! Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing for a bit of a belated F1 2025 Miami Grand Prix race for few, but we'll get 2 weeks off for a triple header, and that's the good stuff. But I tell you what, this race, Miami Grand Prix, what round are we at? Round 6? This was round 6 of the championship. It's crazy how quickly time passes you by, man, the fact this is round 6. But anyway, Oscar Piastri leads home from Norris, Russell, Verstappen, Albon, Antonelli, Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz, and who was P10? Who was P10? Oh, it was Yuki Tsunoda, but I'll go ahead and say it. I don't think Miami's that bad of a track. I genuinely don't think it's that bad of a track. See, apart from even 2023, honestly, we've had 4 Miami Grand Prix, right? The first year, I can remember Verstappen and Leclerc battling for the lead. Second year, you had Perez Verstappen, right? Then, last year, you of course had the safety car and Norris picking up his first victory. Then this year, you had a great sprint and then a really good race. Honestly, it's because the ticket prices and it's because it's America and people just tend to hate on it. I mean, you know what I mean? America, yeah. Honestly, I thought this race was really good. See the first 20 laps, when it was Piastri against Verstappen and then Norris against Verstappen. That is some of the best wheel-to-wheel racing I've seen consistently over like a series of laps. You could argue in years, like, I mean, last year at Austria was pretty good between Norris and Verstappen, but you know, that was only about like, what, 8 laps, I think. This was like 20, like a legitimate 20. And not only the stuff with Verstappen, of course, both McLarens had to make their way through past Antonelli, Russell and a couple of Williamses, especially Norris. But anyway, let's begin. Start the Grand Prix. Max kind of forces Lando wide into turn 1, then forces him wide into turn 2. Penalty. You know what? I don't like giving out penalties, right? Because I like drivers to get the elbows out. But is it really fair that Lando Norris ends up in like P6, 7th, while Max Verstappen gets to, you know, sail off into the distance in P1? Like, let's just say theoretically, right? Max Verstappen, let's just say Red Bull and McLaren had, like, you know, equal cars this weekend. Max would have won that race because, I mean, he is the best driver on the grid, right? But look how dirty it would have been. It's kind of just going under the radar because he's in a car that's, you know, at least a couple of tenths slower than the McLaren. Like, seriously. Didn't really like those tactics. Also at turn 1, what happened, it was Liam Lawson went to the side of Jack Doohan. 2 guys that I wouldn't be surprised if they're no longer on the grid by the halfway point. I mean, by the sounds of it, Doohan won't be on the grid by the next race in Imola. So that'll be interesting, to say the least. But, of course, I think that brought you a VSC. Then you got good overtakes for the McLaren guys forcing the way through. But then Alonso spun as well. Then you got the real meat and potatoes of this race, right? You got Piastri versus Verstappen, which only lasted about like 4 laps, but it was really good. It was a really good battle. Eventually Piastri gets through, forcing Max to go deep into turn 1. Piastri does the switchback, overtakes him, bang bang, good night. But then the Achilles heel of Lando Norris is up next when he catches up to the back of Verstappen. But no, it's incredible, right? Seeing he caught up to the back of these two and went for the first move on Max, Piastri was like 1 and a bit seconds down the road. But then, because of Lando Norris's inability to overtake Max, he just absolutely lost like what, near 10 seconds. And losing 10 seconds to your teammate, right, who, in my opinion, has been, well, I mean, not my opinion, he has been better than him, and honestly, he's improved so much. Piastri, you can't afford to do it. And then, honestly, you better get the words out here, but it would have been good if Norris actually overtook Verstappen earlier. See, if the McLaren boys could have went one-on-one, toe-to-toe. But, you know, he couldn't get past. That cost him a lot of time. They actually end up under a lot of pressure, I feel like Antonelli and Russell. Russell, he started on the hard tyre, so did Hamilton. Does that strategy work? Who really knows? You got a few retirements after. Norris eventually got past Verstappen, but he needs to up his racecraft, folks, doesn't he? It's like the move he did on Russell was great with the switchback, and then he overtook him through like an unconventional part of the circuit. But with Max is too good, and there was too many times Norris was letting Max just stay ahead into the final couple of corners instead of just launching it into the final hairpin. Honestly, that's what he should have done. That's what he should have done, but he didn't do it, and honestly, it cost him. Like, you see, if he get past Max and it was only like 4.5, 5 seconds to Piastri, we've seen by the gap at the end, he might have been able to do something. VSCs though, we've seen 4 cars retire, that saved a lot of people a lot of time. Hamilton, basically everybody apart from Antonelli and Max massively benefited from this. And the race did kind of peter out towards the end. You got some good battles with the Williams and Ferraris, and here Albon overtaking Antonelli. Like, honestly, the Williams was, I'm not going to say it was the second or third fastest or fourth fastest car, but it was definitely good. And like I said, the race kind of petered out after this, and I was thought, I really enjoyed it, honestly. Like the first 20 laps of that race, I'm not over exaggerating. Like, I mean, in terms of wheel to wheel racing, especially like for the lead and the podium positions, you will probably struggle to get that this season over such a long period of time. Like, obviously, I think there will be a bit more drama this season. There will be cars hitting each other and things like that. But yeah, like I said, I read out the order at the beginning. I mean, who didn't have the best of the week? I mean, Aston Martin, honestly. Alonso, in the wet conditions in the sprint, done. Honestly, man, the sprint race baffles me, right? It's like they're keeping Alonso out on inters when he wanted to box first, which would have put him probably, I mean, obviously the Aston Martin doesn't have the pace, right, of a lot of other teams, but I think Alonso, if he pitted before Hamilton and Albon, he probably would have got at least fourth. I'm not going to say he would have got where Hamilton got, because obviously, like, the Ferrari's faster and he overtook Max, even though Max had damage, right? But then you look at the flip side of it. There was a couple of laps to go. There was debris all over the track. It was a wet track, but like one dry line. If you stayed out in the inters, I think there was a really good chance, right, with Aston Martin. They could have potentially, I think they would have initially took the lead, and then I think McLaren's would have got past them, right? But you run the risk of winning the sprint race, because there's no guarantee. Safety car could have come out or something. Honestly, man, there was like 4 laps to go. See if Alonso stays out on intermediate tyres. Well, first of all, he doesn't get wiped out, but he pitted for intermediates and then he ended up battling for a point anyway. If he stays out, you've seriously got a chance of finishing like in the top 3. So, didn't understand that, but that's it.